So, what's integrity? Yes, it's behaving with honesty, but it's much more than that. So let's explore what this means for us in our church and personal life. As you might expect after this morning, I'll start with the Board of Finance. There you go. Integrity for the board means, amongst other things, taking care that investments are not in industries that are against our beliefs. For instance, these can be armaments, pornography, fossil fuels. And that's why the Church in Wales has an ethical investment policy, and the board ensures that investment managers follow it. This can be at a cost to the board because some of those areas have made big profits and shares in the companies have prospered. But the board knows that behaving with integrity is the right thing to do. I do recall many years ago when I had a phone call from the investment managers at the time about a particular stock that they'd purchased. It was a telecommunications company and it supplied cable services. Not a problem area, you'd think. Well, this company also used its cables for TV. And this was in those early days of all the channels that we see today. Included in its offering was a porn channel. It was only a very tiny part of the company, so they asked me what did I think. My reaction was, sell it now. It wouldn't have been me who had the problem, but I did have a picture in my mind of a TV news crew coming up to Archbishop Rowan, because he was our bishop at the time, and putting a microphone in front of him and asking, why are you investing in porn, Archbishop? I doubt he'd have thanked me for it. By the way, doing the right thing can have good consequences. That company's shares went steadily downhill, and it would have been a bad investment in all senses of the word. Another area concerns grants given to the board. Now here, the board has to ensure that the money received is only spent on what the donor wishes. And this again can cause some issues, but it has to be done. Maybe the most important area, though, is how members of the board treat each other and those who work for the board. The Dignity Charter says that we should all treat each other with courtesy, dignity, and respect. In doing that, we shouldn't think, what do we mean when we say or write something? But more importantly, how will the person that we're addressing receive it? So many problems can be avoided if we do that before saying something, or nowadays firing off a text message or email. We all fail all the time, and I certainly do. But we have to admit our failures, learn from them, so that we try not to do the same thing again. I've spoken here about the Board of Finance, but this applies just as much to our ministry areas and churches. In those meetings, we should treat each other in just the same way that I've described. Not only that, how do we react to each other in church and to those who visit our churches? It becomes very obvious whether we do or we don't treat visitors and each other with that courtesy, dignity, and respect. And people will react accordingly. That's not saying we have to like everyone. We have to show that same treatment to those that we find difficult. Now, this is something that people have struggled with down the ages. And I'm sure that many of you will have read how St. Therese of Lisieux struggled to love some of her older sisters in the convent who were crotchety and could be short-tempered. So remember that we're not the first ones to find it hard. And it may be that others are struggling to be courteous to us. Another matter for church is applying for grants. If we know that a grant fund is limited and that there are other churches in greater need who could really do with that money, we should consider, is it right for us to apply even though we meet the criteria? By doing so, we could prevent another church in a poorer state than us from getting help. In the same way that a puppy isn't just for Christmas, integrity isn't just for church. We have to live it in our daily lives. And this feeds through into the decisions which we take and how we treat each other. I can only speak about the work which I know. And there are some times when you have to tell people what they don't want to hear, such as, that's not allowed under tax law. It can even come to the point, if someone continues with something that you know is wrong, you've got to ask them to go elsewhere. And sometimes it can be friends who give you a problem, asking you to turn a blind eye to something, or suggesting you take the easy way out. This too has been going on forever. Just remember our Lord's words to Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan." Thank you.